Okay, William F. asked Ben Affleck, how can we get the U.S. government to take stronger action against the murderers in the Congo? Yeah, I know that you've been to the Congo.
I've been to the Congo, so has Nick. In fact, Nick's work writing the New York Times inspired me to travel there for the first time. Spent a lot of time since there, and Nick does this similar kind of work.
That's great, because that's a tough place.
It is a tough place, like a lot of places in Africa and around the developing world. And I think one of the things, the simplest thing to say is to start caring about it, talk to friends about it, develop a constituency, talk to your representatives about what their position is on foreign aid, listen to, and not just foreign aid, but, you know, there's a way that we can engage with many of these countries for free, which is our diplomacy. There's kind of a zero-sum game of our diplomats are paying attention to a lot of different things all at once, China, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and things just get lost in the shuffle. And if there's enough of a constituency saying, like, hold on a second, you know, we're interested in you paying attention to this, you could have, you know, John Kerry or the President of the United States engaging on a high-level diplomatic initiative with, for example, the Congo, and you could address some of these needs. They're very complicated, they're ongoing. Nick's more expert about it than I am.
What is the situation there now? I mean, honestly, I haven't read a lot about it in the last year.
One of the problems is that we in the news business are essentially dropping the ball on the world. And, you know, television isn't covering the news anymore. And so that makes it incumbent upon people to use social media, to use other ways to hold us accountable, but also to hold governments accountable. Because Congo is a place, you know, the most lethal conflict is World War II. And we can't solve it entirely. We can certainly mitigate it and reduce the death toll. And that's going to require political will.
You're so right about dropping the ball on the news, especially TV news. I mean, the nightly news used to complain that they only had a half hour. So how can we cover the world? Yeah. They only put news in the first slug. I saw NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams this week. The last whole segment was an interview with Ben Affleck.
Fucking horrible. What's the guy doing?
I mean,
ridiculous.
We love Ben Affleck, but it's just not news.
They should have done the interview in the Congo.
Not news.
I did a whole Congo bit.
But it goes to what we were talking about before. It's what we prioritize. It's what we prioritize.
Was it?
Listen, I'd love
the cycle is about that long. It's a 24-hour, maybe a 36-hour news cycle.
But that's what's so perverse is we have a 24-hour cable media, and they never seem to be able to talk about the same thing for more than 10 seconds. So you get nothing in depth. It's just the endless cycling and the putting the viewer in, and when we come back, and the Ebola picture, and the little interview, and there's no in-depth coverage. You have 24 fucking hours to put on the air.
It's become entertainment.
That's the problem.
It's become entertainment.
News used to be a lost leader.
Yeah.
Network.
That's right.
William Paley said, I don't make money from the news. That's what I have the Beverly Hillbillies for.
Absolutely. The government gave the networks the broadcast rights,
and now
they said, okay, we'll give
everybody has to put into the kitty so that the shareholders...
Because news and entertainment are the same thing. You know?
Same thing.
Right.
You get Ben Affleck on fucking Brian Williams.
Right. And me. I mean, obviously, I had a hand in creating that problem. But at least my defense was always, at least if people watch this show and don't watch the news at all, they're getting some news.
Right.
Well, the irony is that people get more news from this show and Stewart and shows like it that are comedy shows than they do from
that's what you see in the
news.
millennials with Colbert and The Daily Show. That's where they get a lot of their news from because there is content.
No, it's cool. I just said that. It's all right. It's fine.
Actually, I think we have more viewers than those shows.
You do.
But that's okay.
You do.
Just you know. Just keep quoting that.
You didn't get.
Just keep quoting that.
You got it.
What's one positive thing about Detroit you want to share with the nation, Ben, since you've been filming Batman?
You know, a lot. I mean, Detroit's an amazing city. On the one hand, it's like, you look at it... you know, Detroit is like a place where we talk about U.S. nation building. I look around blocks and blocks, there's one house that's being lived in. That's our pitch. We'll come build your nation. Look what we did for Detroit. I mean, we have a whole American city virtually lying fallow in sections. An industrial sector that's fallen nearly completely apart. So parts of it's devastating, and I was shocked that we just even allowed. I mean, the UN had to step in because Detroit turned off the water to hundreds of thousands of people. Say, no, you can't do this. Water is a basic human right. You can't turn people's water off. But the truth is, like, I visited a bunch of auto plants, and I've spent a lot of time in the city, and there is a tremendous, like, comeback, can-do spirit that has actually been really, really inspiring to me. So it's a sort of the best...
Why is the movie being filmed there?
The movie, you'd have to talk to the filmmakers, but a part of what Michigan has done is to take on a, you know, Michigan, like other states...
Do they need a kind of a post-apocalyptic...
They're trying to build a...
No, I'm asking. That maybe...
There are stages in Michigan, they're trying to build a film infrastructure, so states...
Batman and Superman are fighting, they wreck the whole city, and that's what they need to...
Nice. They had to come back to try and do spirit until Maher shit on them.
No. I love Detroit. Okay. with the way we favor war in this country, it would be best to bring back the draft. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No.
Everybody needs to know.
All strata of Americans need to absorb the cost of war. My kids, middle-class kids, poor kids, not just this tiny stripe of American society.
National service would be a great idea, but the problem is the military now is so specialized that simply having everybody in it, A, wouldn't create a great military, but also then creates more reserves that are then more likely to be deployed.
I think the political benefits would be such that everyone would go, no, we can't go to war.
The generals don't want the draft, and why is that? I mean, why?
Because
of what he just said. Because the more effective force.
Yeah, you want a smaller force that stays in longer.
Well, it worked in World War II. They drafted.
It's a different fight.
Much more technical now.
Yeah, it's a very different strategy. I mean, military is much more technologically driven. So you need fewer people because you've got the equipment to do it.
But this idea that by having a volunteer service we're getting the cream of the crop to sign up is not exactly true either. What we're getting is people who very often don't have any other options in life.
I don't know. Teach for America is a great program. Those kids kick ass. They're a good national.
But I mean, I think the military can take anybody and turn them into.
Yeah, the military's badass. They don't fuck around. And they're serious fucking men and women.
Right.
You know
but they don't just take anybody anymore. They don't. That's
well,
the
actually,
point.
they did lower their standards on weight and drug use.
That may be.
Which one were you in support of?
But don't get this idea that they just take anybody who walks in. That's not true.
Something like half of young people now no longer qualify for the military.
Right.
But I think it's less about a tactical game. Look, the United States Armed Forces could defeat any standing army in the world in conventional warfare almost immediately and overnight. We have the world's best Navy, we have the best standing army, the most proficient and equipped soldiers in the world. The only things the United States fails at are situations where using a military approach isn't an exact fit, like nation building and so on and so forth. So I think the political cost of saying, okay, you know what, you want to support a war, a gigantic war where we're all going to go fight, even if the general's like, we don't need all these kids, means that the congressman's kid and the senator's kid and the rich guy's kid and the hedge fund guy's kid also have to go endure that cost.
Well, the first mistake, I agree with that. The first mistake, though, that we've seen since 9/11 is that we tend to use our military for the purposes of nation building, and that's not the purpose of a military. It is to blow up things and to wreak
military
havoc,
conquest,
and then you pull it out. And then the diplomat and the government-to-government relations are all about what those who are there on the ground want their nation to be. And you cannot impose that through a military, and we've learned a dear lesson because of it.
All right, let me ask you one final question. Put on your chairman of the Republican Party hat for one second. Excellent economic news that we got this week. 5.9% is the unemployment rate.
Yep.
It was lower.
248,000 jobs created.
Right. It was lower. That rate was only lower during 1 year of St. Reagan's 2 terms.
Yeah, but look where it was at the beginning of Reagan's term. So, double-digit inflation, double-digit unemployment.
Look where it was at the beginning of Obama.
I know, but again, I take your point, and there have been strides made, but it's the type of recovery that is still the driver here. And you do have people who have not felt. You still have
so many.
You still have 5 million people who were unemployed in 2008 that are still unemployed today, and that is a reality for a lot of folks out there. So is the stagnation in the growth, and it is due to a couple of things. One, the failure to address tax policy, minimum wage, the failure to address regulatory policy, and to create the kind of incentives that require us to manufacture again, allow us to build.
Sound like a Democrat. You sound like you're making a Democratic argument.
Those are actually very Republican principles. Eisenhower and
but you're for.
I mean, Nixon wanted universal health care. I mean, things have changed. Yeah. Well, here's the result of this policy is that it is a little bit like what Senator Warren said, a game that is rigged. I was here again, 2004. I remember talking about this, saying these Bush tax cuts are saving me millions and millions of dollars. And if they continue on for 4 more years, I'm going to save millions and millions and millions of dollars. What jobs am I going to create? Another assistant? You know what I mean? I'm an actor. I make movies. But I'm just going to get more money. So, and even if I go make the movies, that doesn't change, of course, the Bush tax cut that I get. And I'm like a lot of other wealthy people who just got buckets of money dumped on them by the Bush administration for virtually no enhanced societal contribution. And as such, these policies have continued. The estate tax being eliminated, I think, was devastating to the redistribution, the fair, equitable redistribution.
But you can still write the check, Ben, if you want.
Not to the U.S. government.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't write a check to the U.S. government.
Yes, you can. You go ahead. IRS is not going to turn your check away.
That's not how it works.
Yeah, that's a dumb argument.
That's not how it works.
It's not
and I just want to say, as someone who goes through that Netflix list every night trying to find a good movie, you need to keep making movies because there's not a lot of great movies out there. All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you, audience.
Thanks for getting me off the hook.